Hello and welcome to the Saturday live stream. I'm going to go ahead and make a post. It's been a while since I did a live stream. Just wanted to get on here, talk to you guys. And see what's going on out there. We've been extremely busy over here at Project Shop. Had Oliver here today. Steve is popping in and out. I think Steve's still around. He might come by today. Let's see here. Who we got in here today? How do I make this bigger? Lee. What's up, dude? I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Lee? I don't know. What's up, Kenneth? Fritz, Joseph, TB and J Recycling. What's up, dude? Let's scrap some silver bars. Actually, earlier today I was rounding up some big contacts. What's up, Joseph? Valenti? Ike, what's up, dude? Yeah, actually, I was just going through some scrap, doing some micro scrapping today, and I came across a bunch of huge contacts to add to my pile. My pile of silver buttons is getting big. We're gonna have to start heating them up and pushing the silver off of the little chunks of copper soon. I should melt all those contacts down. I plan on it. I'm gonna clean them up off of the thing, and I'm gonna wait until I have enough to fill my 10-pound copper mold. I don't know. I'm assuming copper and silver weight is going to be about the same or in the same area. So I want to be able to pour a 10-pound silver ingot, which will be awesome. What's up, John Harshberg? Your first live stream? Sweet. Hey, when that centrifuge cleans the diesel, do you pump it from a dirty barrel out into a clean barrel? And does it transfer 1-to-1? Okay, so I actually have the centrifuge right here, and we're actually going to take a step back. I'm actually going to take it all the way back apart, and I'm going to paint it. I'm going to give it my shop color because it's just raw aluminum. And, I got to kind of put my mark on it. So we're going to talk about that today and the setup. But I'm going to take it apart, clean it, and paint it, go over the system. And then in another video, as soon as the paint dries, probably tomorrow, I will be making a video of reassembling it and cleaning out the containers and setting the containers up, wiring the machine and wiring up the pump. And then if I got to go get fit in, I think I got enough fit-ins between what came with the kit. He actually gave me some extra fit-ins. The guy Mike from, I'm sorry, having a brain fart here. It's not Mike. or maybe, oh man, his name is similar to my wife's name. Hold on a second. Uh, um, Sorry, I've had like a crazy. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Michael. Anyway, um, let me just look this up. Yeah, Michael. I knew it was Mike. Michael from PA Biodiesel. Really nice guy. He's sending me a banner to put on my thing. He's got some really cool things coming up. He's starting another basically company revolving around centrifuges where you put it on your truck. It's not. I mean, the concept has been around for a while, and people have actually commented that they've had them on their trucks in the past. Fritz Marlowe, I've been watching you since your first shop. Really? Is that the first shop where I had my water sluice and my oil processor? Actually, it's crazy you said that because in the video I just did earlier today, I was asking that question about who's been around since the very beginning. Because in my first shop, I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers. So that's it. I'm always interested in like who was my first couple hundred subscribers and do they even still watch? You know. So anyway, Michael from PA Biodiesel. He actually has I don't know if it went live yet, but he's doing a 4th of July special where he actually had a couple of these painted blue, I think, kind of like the red, white, and blue. So he's got a very limited supply of them that are actually powder coated. I believe he did. I'm just going to rattle can ray my shit. But actually, I do have, I believe I still have Steve's powder coating set up here, but we scrapped out the furnace that we were using to powder coat everything with. So I can't powder coat it. I did buy orange powder coat, high gloss, and we have black powder coating. So now I need to build a furnace for powder coating. Or I was going to tell you guys something. I totally got sidetracked. So let me just see who else is in here. What's up, James? Oh yeah, the 1-to-1. Hey, when you clean the diesel and pump it from a dirty barrel out into a clean barrel, does it? So it's going to pretty much be 1-to-1. The only thing you might lose is water will get separated and or evaporated with the heater, and it's going to pull the sludge out. It's going to pull all the heavy carbon, and anything heavier than the oil is going to get pulled out of it. So it's really it's going to clean it very well. You don't think it's live until Monday or Tuesday? Okay. What's up, Henry? I'm doing great, man. Things are good. I'm scrapping and moving along. Got a bunch of projects we're doing. So what I'm going to do, and I should have done this right out the gate thinking about it because I did put some red Loctite on those things, and I'm curious how easy they're going to come out. I'm going to take it all apart. We're going to paint the legs orange. I'm going to paint the body black because the motor's already black and I won't have to tape it off. And is the safety marshal a nurse? No, not that I know of. No. That's fun. So is motor oil not cooking oil? Oh yeah. So I'm not going to be running cooking oil. I'm going to be running straight up used motor oil. I'm going to get it from mechanics and also from generator service companies, people that service generators. One, I want the oil because it's super clean. I don't know if you ever seen the oil that comes out of something that runs off propane. It literally looks like there's like no carbon in it. So it's like super clean, looks like it's still brand new. My forklift runs off propane. Every time I check the oil, it still looks like brand new oil. It's really clean oil, so it's going to clean up nice. And they're generator companies. So, and that's kind of a way I'm going to get my foot in the door with them is I'm going to offer them free oil service, and I want their scrap. When they change out generators, I can get in there with them, you know? So is the oil for an oil burner for heat? No, I live in South Florida, man. We don't have a problem with heat down here. We have all the heat we need. It's going to be for making fuel for my truck. Alan, hi bud. Hope you and your wife are well. Love from England. Thank you. Yes, we are. We are well. What's up, Cruiser Mac? Um, yeah. So, for those of you that've been around long enough, you'll know in my last shop, not where I lived and worked, but my shop I had before I was working from home. I had a huge oil setup. I had a one of those totes. So I had a 250-gallon tote. I had a 500-gallon tank. I had a 300-gallon tank, and then another 400-gallon tank. And I had the first tank was where I would pump in. I would just dump all the dirty oil that I was bringing in. And I had a really nice setup, even though I didn't have a centrifuge. By the time I transferred it from tank to tank, when it got to my filter setup, all the water was already gone. A lot of the sludge and all the crap was eliminated in the first two tanks. And the way I did that was I built a funnel that the funnel went all the way down to the bottom of the first tank. So when I poured in all the dirty oil, all the dirty stuff went straight to the bottom, and it pushed up all the settled oil. Like it would all the oil, because the best thing you can do when burning waste oil is settle. The longer you can let that oil sit undisturbed, the water, the particulates, the carbon will start to drop out of it. Okay. So I would pump it into the bottom. It would push up all the good oil. And then I had a pump that I would always pull from halfway. I would never go below half of the drum. So I'm always pulling out settled oil. And that system, I was going to go one step further. I was actually going to make a float that floated on the top and had the spigot, and I was going to put it on an arm, almost like a fuel float in the tank of your fuel tank, how it would just float up and down. I was going to have that. So, and my future setup, I'm going to go revisit that so that I will pull right off the top, not halfway, not three quarters. I'm going to pull all the oil right off the top constantly. So wherever that is floating, I'm going to pull the cleanest settled stuff, the stuff that's been sitting in there the longest. Okay. And then I'm going to put it into another tank and literally do the same thing twice. I'm going to have it pumped in, down all the way to the bottom, push up the oil. So you're really settling that oil. And that's the way my other tanks was. I had the square tote And what I did is I pumped it into a round 500-gallon tank that I had jacked up one side. The tanks usually always have a valve on the bottom somewhere. So before I would even pull oil out of it, I always went and cracked that valve and pulled 5 gallons off the bottom. All the sludge and water, I would always pull that off the bottom first and then pump out. And I did that to each tank. So when I would, and then the 500-gallon tank was long and on an angle. So I would pump it in on this side down to the bottom, right where the valve was. So any water would sit in the belly, and on that angle, all the heavy sludge and stuff would sit there. And as it filled up, I would pull from the other end of the tank, all the way down the other end of the 500-gallon tank. And out of that, I would put it in this big round 300-gallon Halvoline tank I had. And that's where I would add diesel fuel at that point. I think what I was doing is a mixture. I was splitting it. So when I was running my W85, I forget I'll have to do all the numbers again, and I'll go over that in another video. So your 15% cut would either be gasoline or diesel fuel. I always like to keep a little bit of raw, regular, clean diesel in the mix. It just seemed to get less coking up, less white smoke coming out. Okay. And so I would blend a little bit of gasoline and diesel fuel. I think it was 7 gallons per 55-gallon drum, if I'm correct. Don't quote me on that. But it's roughly around there, and so I would split the 7 gallons, 3.5 diesel, 3.5 gasoline, because the gasoline is cheaper, and I feel like the gasoline would cut the oil down thinner, make it easier going through your injectors. And then I would blend it in that big tank. I had a pump that just circulated it, and then I would pump it through. I had a bank of 12 filters. It was 6 filters, but paralleled so I could do high flow. And I had this really cool, it was a propane tank. And what I would do is I open a valve at the top to bleed out air. And then I had like a clear line coming off that ran back to the tank. And I would just fill that up. I would fill it up with a pump. Right. And I think I was using air pressure at that point. Yeah, I was pressurizing the tank and filling that up. And when I seen black come out of the top, I knew it was full. I'd shut the valves. I'd open the valve. I took another small regular propane tank, flipped it upside down. Right. So the round belly was on the bottom with a valve. I welded a port here and then a port up here. So the fuel would come in here. Any heavy stuff at that point that might have still been in the mix, and water would fall down. It would fill up and then be pressurized through my bank of 12 filters, which started out at 120 microns, maybe 100, 75, 50. I had a water block in there, fuel water separator. And then I went down to 10 microns. And then I think the smallest one I had was 5 micron. So pretty much the first 3 filters before the water blocks, I'd have to change a lot, And I just went to Home Depot and I bought some big house water filters for filtering water. But the microns, you could get different microns, and it worked great, man. And then I would pump it off into, from there, I would just pump it into, I had a big 400-gallon tank that I had got from someone. And that's where I would pump it into my fuel cell in the back of my truck. And then I always had, between all them tanks, I always had like 1,000 gallons of fuel on hand between that and my truck. And I mean, this truck sitting out back, see out that door, that red truck, I put 250,000 miles on that truck, running transmission fluid, used motor oil, basically thinned out with gasoline and diesel fuel. And the only issues I ever had was I went through probably 3 or 4 inline pickup pumps. The fuel pump that brings the oil from the tank into the high pressure oil pump. It either didn't like the gasoline in the mix, or it was too thick for that pump, or they were just old, or low quality. I was buying cheap ones from the auto parts store, whatever I can get my hands on. But I did buy one that literally lasted like 2 days at one point. So I think it was like one of them was faulty, and then the other 3 were just one. The original one was probably just old, and then the other ones were me working out my mix. And the whole time, I only lost an injector one time, but I actually recovered it. I got it it was either stuck or coked up really bad. And I use seafoam. And how you seafoam a 7.3 diesel is the fuel bowl with the fuel filter has a drain. You get the engine warm, up to temperature. And then, that's another thing. You're going to replace a lot of fuel filters because, especially running transmission fluid, it's going to clean the crap out of your fuel system. All the gunk and debris in the lines and in the tank, you're just going to bring it in, And I think that's why I kept going through a lot of fuel pumps, because from the tank to the fuel pump, there was no filter. The filter was all the way up at the top of the engine. The way that truck's set up now is I did the hutch mod. I gutted the screens and everything in the tank, and I actually have a nice screw-on filter right outside of the tank before the fuel pump. But I going down this system, eventually I am going to upgrade the pump to either an Air Dog or some other type of a higher end pump that's actually going to take the strain of pulling through more filters, Let's see where we're at. So it's just oil to reuse. No, I'm not going to reuse it. I'll always put fresh oil in my truck. But I think with a centrifuge, you could clean the oil enough to probably reuse it. And the oil that I would get from the generator people, I mean, those generators really don't run that much. That oil is like brand new oil. You run that oil through a centrifuge, man, I could probably sell that oil by the 55-gallon drum if I wanted. But it's all like 1030 probably. And it's not like, I like using Rotella. I'm like real strict on using diesel high, the oil for a diesel engine. Can I recycle the oil from sealed units? I plan on it. I plan on mixing that oil right in with, even if it doesn't burn as good, you mix like a gallon, I probably got 5 gallons of it sitting right here in that little green thing. If I mix that in with a 250-gallon tote and then thin it out a little bit with some gasoline and diesel, I don't think I'm going to have a problem at all burning it. And I think someone did comment that they were using the compressor oil to burn in a heater or something. So, I mean, we're going to find out. We're going to find out if I can get it to burn. Are you going to set this up in the other side of your shop? Keep all that oil mess out of your scrap? I'm not sure where I'm going to set it up at this point. I think I'm going to clean off just to start with and get it going. I'm going to put it on this thing over here and get all the kinks worked out of it, get how I want everything plumbed and valved and everything like that. And the flow, and then the blender. I don't know if I showed you guys the blenders I got. I found it at the Scrapyard, actually. Let me go get it real quick. It's actually really cool. I was actually going to make something like this, but I found this at the Scrapyard. So your two things come in here, and then in here is just a bunch of, let me see if I can pull it out of there. It basically just blends the fuel, and there's little filters in there. We probably ain't going to need the filters at that point, but this is for blending two types of liquids. You got your intake ports there, and then your single output. And then I also have, once it's blended, to keep anything from separating and keep it blended, somewhere around here, I got these stainless tubes that are about this long. And I'm going to plumb it into the final tank with my pump, and I'm going to have a valve. I can either switch it to where it's going to pump out into my truck or my fuel cell, or I'll be able to circulate in the thing. And what it's going to do is it's going to pick the fuel up from a point. It's going to push it through this pipe, and this pipe along the whole way has drilled, tapped, threaded holes. And I'm just going to, it's all the way through. I'm just going to plug one side so they're pumping out one way. That way it picks it up, and it's going to rotate it around and then pump it out at multiple levels throughout the tank, so I get a consistent blend. Like, I'm going to have a really dialed in system because I plan on using the crap out of this stuff. I'll give you a little sneak peek. Well, I can't show it to you, but I'll tell you about it. I went and picked up a massive 150 diesel generator, old school diesel generator. And they got rid of it because they were having problems keeping it running. And me and Steve think we figured out why. The oil was so full. Like, when I pulled the dipstick, it was all the way at the top of the dipstick. So it was way over full with oil, and it was thin. And like, when we were pulling it out, it started leaking out, and Steve didn't know if diesel was leaking or oil was leaking because they had this big pan underneath. What we think was happening is they had a giant diesel tank in the room. The problem was the diesel tank was way higher, probably 2 or 3 feet higher than the whole generator and the pump, which was lower. So what we think was happening is, over time, you know, maybe one of the seals on the diesel pump went bad and was just letting diesel fuel trickle in through the injectors and down into the motor and filling up the block. Now, I hope, I'm hoping that they didn't like hydrolock it or bend a rod starting it with it being full of diesel fuel. Those older engines are probably bulletproof, but hopefully there was enough, like, it was trickled in slow enough to where that wouldn't have been an issue. But we think that's what the problem was. But that it's an old mechanical pump, you know, old. There's nothing electronic on the motor. Everything's like, you know, governed by just manual stuff, which I really love, man. I'll be able to pretty much burn free fuel in that thing. I can power this whole shop. I can power, literally, you should have seen, you'll see in the video what this thing was powering. It was literally powering an entire apartment complex or condo. I think it was a condominium and a little gated thing. Just a beast mode generator. And I think it's 3-phase. So I'm really stoked about that because I've been wanting a diesel 3-phase generator. So if I had to power my milling machine or my lathe, or I have something else in the works that I've been trying to get that's 3-phase, and then I'll have the ability to run 3-phase whenever I want, you know? All right, let's catch up on some comments, and then I'm going to start taking this thing apart. We're going to just give it a quick coat of paint. I'll go over everything, answer any questions. Took some scrapping this morning. Got a guy overpaid me $1,000. What? I thought for a moment and then gave it back. Good for you, man. That's good on you, dude. They did that down in Miami to me one time. I took like, I think it was like 500 pounds of ballast in there one time, which is like, I don't know, 15 cents a pound. I don't know what it was, but they messed up somewhere, and they almost paid me $5,000 more than they were supposed to. And I didn't even let it get to the point where they were going to pay me. I looked at the ticket and I seen the price, and I mean, they were going to pay me, but they would have probably found out at some point that they overpaid me. But I told the dude, I was like, nah, dude, you need to take a look at that ticket. Something's off, with your pricing. I mean, that would have been a nice payday, but, you gotta take care of people that take care of you. And those guys take care of me down there. And, I'm happy with what I get from them. So good on you, Cruiser Mac. That would have been a nice come up, though. What's up, Speedster Vlog? Hey, what's up, Adam W? What's up, John Daly? Does antifreeze burn if it gets dumped into your used oil? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure this machine will clean that out. So when am I going to get the truck on the road in the back? Well, the amount of money I'm going to save in diesel fuel, I'm going to be able to do a couple more projects, It needs a starter and an alternator and a transcooler. Matter of fact, the whole reason it sat back there in the original, it needed a transcooler. I looped the line back around so I can drive it. I drove it over here and parked it there. And I just never got around to fixing the transcooler. And then one day I got stuck here in the middle of the night with my other truck. Both batteries went bad. And as they were going bad, I guess the alternator was struggling. And then the starter was having problems because of the bad batteries. And I wind up burning up my alternator, both batteries, and my starter. So I just kind of robbed them off of that truck so I can go home. And that after that, I was like, no, I'm done doing that, man, because I would have just picked this thing clean of parts. Like, I needed an AC compressor. And immediately I was like, oh, I just replaced the one on that truck before I parked it. I know it's got a good compressor and some other parts and a blower motor. Pretty much everything I just replaced on this truck. That truck has almost new, but it, been sitting there, but it was new. I was like, no. So I spent the money. I got a new AC compressor, orifice tube, some seals. I got the seals for the fuel bowl. I got a pulley, a tensioner pulley, and the 2 idlers that I needed. So we're going to dial that truck in. And then as soon as I get that sorted, I'm going to sort this truck. And I'd like to fix the other one up nice. I got a lot of parts for it to make it nice and clean. And then this one, I want to get a flatbed for and just put a, eventually get a gooseneck and have that thing as a straight up scrap hauler. Like that's going to be, I'm going to make that one the work truck. And then have the other one as a backup and just keep them both nice. Antifreeze has water in it, so it will not burn easily. Now, I'm pretty sure this thing will take it out. I'm such a tease. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see that. I got coming up. Yeah. I mean, I always got stuff coming up, man. My crystal ball says that you will have a reality show similar to Richard Rollins' Fast and Loud in the future. How much will this cost you in the end? How much will what cost me? The centrifuge? So this setup here with all the stuff, I basically got all the bells and whistles that come with it. I'm pretty sure you can get just a basic thing I think it was 1800 or 1600. I don't quote me, man. I should go to the website. You can go to pabiodiesel.com. See all the pricing there. I did get this at a discount, and he does a 4th of July special, and I think throughout the year he does one other special. Your pump is waiting for you, Bill. What's up, Mike? You enjoy the channel? Learn so much about scrapping. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all watching. What's up, Fart Stack Jack? How far are you from Perry? I don't know. I don't know where Perry is. Are you talking to me or someone in the comments? Anyone ever try the Stripmeister? I'm looking for a good little wire stripper. I haven't personally. A couple channels out there have them. I think Shark Scrapper has a bigger model, and I think Thumbprint has a basic model that you use with a drill. I mean, they seem okay if you're just doing it as a hobbyist thing. I have my thoughts on those style strippers. I'm not a fan of the single roller on the bottom or the blade idles on top. Both of my wire strippers, even though they're completely different, both rollers are powered. The blades are powered and the cup in the bottom is powered, so it pulls it through way better than just one that might be slipping on the bottom. I mean, they work. I've seen the guys use them pretty good. I'm also a scrapper and take apart small transformers and TV scrap. Man, is there even any scrapping TVs anymore? Back in the day, when I used to go pick up transformers at the scrapyard, they would always throw those yokes in the there's things with the thing, and I would buy them. I would just take them and smash them with a hammer and pull the copper out. It was so easy. It was a pretty good deal. One of the scrappers just got a new stripper like yours, has different hole sizes. Yeah, I mean, they'll do the job. I mean, my first homemade wire stripper, I literally took a metal roll, like a Harbor Freight 4-in-1 metal brake shear metal roller setup, or 3-in-1, whatever it is. And I just drilled a hole, tapped it, put a pulley on the end of one of the sprockets that had the gear. And then I just took a grinder and spun it, and I cut blades in the top and a cup in the bottom. And I was stripping wire. I had a powered wire stripper, and it did pretty good for certain stuff. You know, I think I could strip stuff about the size of my finger, and that was it. There's not much in flat screens. Some low to mid-grade circuit boards, maybe a half pound of thin wire, and a power cord. Yeah, it's like everything else. They've taken all the high dollar stuff out and replaced it with garbage, really. All right, I got to get this going. So I'm going to first remove the legs, or I'll remove the top first, kind of lighten this thing up. This thing is a lot heavier than it looks. It looks small, but it's actually pretty beefy and well made, in my opinion. Now I have some, I'm going to be painting this orange, but I will tape that off, tape these off. And when I'm done, I'm going to probably sand that down if I can without scratching the paint to let that pop out. It says PA Biodiesel. It's literally cast right into it. Pretty cool. Okay. I'm definitely not going to fit. So I had someone when I did the video on this, showcasing it, someone was talking about like road taxes and stuff like that. So as long as you're not doing, I think, more than 400 gallons a month, you're okay. If you do more than 400 gallons a month, you need what's called a blender's license. Or at least that's what I remember when I looked into this years ago. When I was actually doing it, I don't think I did more than 400 gallons a month. But there are a couple of things that you might have to do or can do. But I'm going to be well under that threshold, so I'm not even concerned about it. And I will be buying diesel fuel to add to the mix. Because what I found, oh, these might be, hold on a second. Let me grab my other Allen keys. So when I was doing this in the past, what I found that works the best and gave less problems with the injectors was keeping diesel fuel in the mix. So instead of cutting with gasoline, which works fine, you just wind up getting like a white haze out of your exhaust and potentially coking up some injectors. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have put that red Loctite on there. we might be painting this in place. It'll just look a lot better if I get it off of there. Start right here with this thing. Another thing I found out, especially when running the gasoline in the mix, it did not like, or at least I found, the truck did not like if I put like a diesel additive, you know, like diesel clean or something specifically formulated to clean diesel engines or you know, boost the whatever with the anytime I put a specifically diesel product in the mix, I had problems. It did not like it whatsoever. Is that even the right? Huh. Okay. The best thing I found, and which is universal between gas and diesel, is seafoam. Seafoam is your greatest friend when blending your own fuel. That stuff works with gas engines. It works with diesel engines. You can put it in the oil to clean your block and all the sludge that might be in your engine. you can straight up, and this is what I used to do, how to sea foam. I think that's what I was getting into and I got off track. How to sea foam my 7.3. You drain the fuel bowl after, well, I would do it when I changed my oil. I would bring the truck up to temperature, and that for a reason, because when you're done, you want to be able to get in the truck and go drive it. Bring the truck up to temperature. Then you drain the fuel bowl, change your fuel filter, and fill the entire fuel bowl before you put the lid on with straight sea foam. And then what you want to do is start the engine. Let it run for about 2 minutes. Let it start running off of the sea foam. It's going to mix some diesel fuel in there because it runs it back through the tank, and it's going to get some of it in there, but it's going to be a high concentrate getting into your injectors. And what you want to do is shut down the engine in about 2 minutes. That way you run a lot in there, and then you let that soak in there. And what it's going to do, it's going to soak in the injector. It's going to soak in the cylinder. And then you want to let it sit for 30 minutes. And that during the 30 minutes is I would change the oil. By the time I was done changing the oil, getting the oil back, I'd start the truck back up, make sure nothing was leaking. Then I would go take it for a test drive. And while on the test drive, I would take it out of overdrive and then lay into the throttle, bring it up, probably 3,500 RPM, and just get on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle a couple times, wide open throttle. And man, you want to talk about blowing black smoke? Now my truck back there is tuned up already. It's got a Diablo Sport 120 horse tune in it. And it would just blow and clear all the stuff out. And then I never really had any problems with anything. Everything ran great. Every once in a while, especially when you first start out, you're going to go through a lot of fuel filters. So I would always keep 2 brand new fuel filters in my toolbox. And what would happen is you would start noticing a lot of white smoke. That's basically your truck starving for fuel, your fuel filter being clogged up. You change the filter, run a little sea foam, you're good to go. And after a while, it really wasn't even a problem. After I had ran, a few thousand miles on the stuff, the fuel system was pretty much cleaned out. Now I bought that truck out back with a little over 200,000 miles. It's right under 500,000 right now. And for the most part, I ran that black diesel pretty much the majority of the time I had the truck. And like I said, other than changing the pickup pump, which I probably should have just spent the money to upgrade, the engine, I never had any real problems with it. Other than, one time coking up an injector. And that was in the beginning when I was experimenting with different mixtures. And blending it and experimenting with how thick. Down here in Florida, you really don't need an inline heater. Now up north, you probably, even down here with it being warm, until the truck came up to temperature, it did run kind of rough. I wouldn't say it just fired up and was smooth. Once the engine heated up and the oil was kind of hot going into the engine, it ran great. Eventually, I'd like to dial the truck in. If I'm going to be running the waste oil, keeping the truck, I will eventually get an inline heater just so that everything is smooth and we let the engine run at its optimal. We don't want no problems. But the money I'm going to save in fuel is going to be substantial because, driving to Miami is not a quick little feat there. And I get people ask me all the time, why do I go to Miami? I mean, I got customers that are literally south of the scrapyard I go to, and I got customers up and around the area where I go to. So, sometimes I don't have pickups down there, but majority of the time I'm going down there. I have things to do. I like to kill two birds with one stone, sell scrap, work my way back up, and pick up more. It's like a truck driver, man. Truck drivers don't like coming back with an empty load. If they drive across the country, they want to get paid to come back. I'm going to set this out of the way so it doesn't get overspray. That's going to look really nice. I'm going to take these feet off. So this is a 1/3 horsepower. $34.50. Depending on which hertz you run this at. So it says it's factory wired for 115 volts, but this motor is dual voltage. It says see instructions for 230 volt connections. I'm most likely going to wire this for 220 just because it's going to be running for a while. And back to the guy that was asking about how many gallons a minute you can run through it or gallons per hour. They recommend to get the oil as clean as possible. You really only want to run about 5 gallons an hour. Now you can crank it up and run whatever you want through it, really, but you really want that oil to sit in there as long as possible. So I'm going to be running about 5 gallons an hour. I've actually thought about having multiple, like have it come out of one centrifuge, drop right into another one. Kind of like when I did my first setup, because I wanted high flow, I didn't want to sit there all day and babysit the setup. I put the filters in parallel. I had 6 filters, but I had 2 of them. Each one I had 2 for 2 reasons. 1, so they wouldn't clog up as fast, and 2, I was pushing the oil through with air pressure, and I wanted to just go through, and it worked out pretty good. Like I said, I had a lot of time, and I don't even know how much money I saved doing that, but when I left my last shop, I just didn't have the space to put those tanks, and I really couldn't be blended where I lived in that neighborhood. I couldn't really do the black diesel thing there. It really needs to be like if you got your own property out in the middle of nowhere, or you got a nice big shop. And my last shop was nice and big. And I had the space to put a bunch of few 100-gallon tanks in there. Another great thing is, which I have a pile of stuff sitting over there for the incinerator. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to run that thing off of the black diesel, no problem. It's basically just an oil burner. It's got oil injection things, and I don't see it being a problem. Now the blend, I don't know if it's going to work well with gasoline, or that's one thing I always was concerned about, is the seals. Like, are the seals rated for gasoline in the truck? If that's a problem. Like I said, other than like the fuel pump, I never really had a problem. And I'll tell you what, that truck seemed like when I was running it on the black diesel, it ran quieter. You know, 7.3 diesels are kind of clacky. You know, you can hear everything clicking and clacking in there. It just seemed like it ran quiet and smoothed out, you know. It really liked it, in my opinion. I'm really, really excited to be getting back into being able to do this. I'm going to use a little wire to hang my parts. I don't know if this thing's going to hold these. I like to put them on this. I'm going to spray this right here on the table. I'm going to hang these. And I'm not sure about that one yet. But I'm going to paint these orange. I'm going to paint this orange, and I'm going to paint this black. Just because it's going to be easier. Okay? So I'm going to clean this real quick. Put my grubby scrap hands all over this nice clean aluminum. See my fingerprints all over it already? Way back in the day when I worked at the restoration shop, how we would have to clean things. You got one wipe. This is how high-end the paint jobs were. You had two rags. You put the stuff on. I think we were spritzing it on. You wipe the fender, right? And you see it gloss and get the stuff on there. And then you come back with the dry one and then wipe it. And then you never wipe that face of the rag on that again. You would turn it over, you get one wipe, and then you could flip it like that and get one wipe. The one thing you never wanted to do was put the solvent on there and rub back and forth, because you're basically just smearing the dirt and grime. If there's any silicone or oil, you're just kind of smearing it around. You want to wipe it one direction and then come back with the dry rag in one direction and wipe it off. And that's how you get a flawless paint job. The guy I work for, after the prep, after whatever we did to get the body straight and the primer and block sand and everything down, it was $10,000 to spray the paint and to buff and polish it. But we use lacquer. And what we would do is we'd come in one night, put 3 coats of lacquer on, stop, let it tack up overnight and dry, kind of harden, come back later in the evening the next day, wet sand the entire car down with, I think, either like 600 grit or something like that. We wet sand the whole thing and then come back and put 3 more coats on. It was a couple-day process. And then from there, we'd start out with like 1,000 or 1,200 grit to 2,000 grit or something. I think it was 1,500 and 2,000 grit, and then polishing compounds. And then literally you would have a mirror. Like, you could literally see everything behind you, your face, no matter what color the car was. It was absolutely amazing, the quality of the paint. We're just going to give this rattle can the best. I probably shouldn't be touching this, but for the most part, this is going to be, it's going to look nice. It's going to give it some nice accents and, you know, have my shop colors on it. As much as I like the aluminum look, I also like the paint stuff. I'm going to give this a first coat and then I'll see what's going on in the chat. See? That's just from me touching it with my grimy hands. Now I'm pretty sure he had his powder coated. And ultimately, for an industrial, keeping fuels and solvents and stuff like that, diesel off of the stuff, powder coating is the way to go, for sure. We'll give ourselves a clean spot. But unfortunately, we scrapped the powder coating setup or the makeshift thing me and Steve were using. Now, this ain't some high-end thing, so I'm not worried about really wasting a bunch of rags and stuff like that. I mean, but when we were done, there'd be a pile of rags. But we would also we would take them rags, and I do this to this day. If you put rags like that you use to, you know, whatever, dry your hands, you know, don't use a dirty rag you did something really nasty with. But if you're just drying your hands or you're just using solvents, if you throw it in a cardboard box, the cardboard box has a way of like pulling the moisture out, drying the rags. And then you can just reuse the rags for like if you have an oil spill or something like that. Because, you know, these blue rags are not cheap. Just like everything else in the world now. We're actually using my camera gantry that I built out of scraps to do this. Let me see. I think I might just paint this thing right over here. Got a barrel of bright and shiny copper. Let's see here. Go ahead. Perfect. You know what? I'm going to see if I can't get those out. Oh, shit. What's up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
Hey, man, we're live. We got Steve in the house.
All cleaned up and everything. I left my wallet.
You left your wallet here?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I could have had a spending spree, dude. Okay. This thing is actually on a weird angle. I was actually thinking about putting this on my milling machine and milling the top of that. I thought that would make it look really cool, but it seems like a lot of setup. I could just use a piece of sandpaper or something. I don't know. I might still do it. Whoa. Okay. We got a little aggressive there. I'm just going to be painting the top. I'm not going to, there's a machine finish that sits with the lid or the seal. I'm going to let that be. I got a real dirty spot right here. Okay. I could look down in there and see copper. Not that I'm going to be spraying up here, but we just want to give this motor the best chance it has of lasting a long time. Okay. It's like a donut hole. Okay. Not really worried about that finish there. Start with a new rag. Maybe 2 new rags. Whoops. That's Steve out there shopping. He always likes to look through my scrap. He's always looking for motors. We got a big block, a 7.4 liter big block motor to pick up next week on a massive generator. Big boy. Gonna be a fun pickup. Wait till you see the pickup I just did. The scrap table is not the best for prepping because it's absolutely dirty and greasy and filthy, but I think we're going to be all right. Hold on, I got to find another box. You got the pizza box from the other night's pizza. Perfect. Okay. Now, I don't know if y'all seen these new cans, right? These stupid 5-in-1. You know what? And they raised the price of this can by $1 because of this dumbass lid. Okay. If I want a specific thing, you know what? They should sell caps that have this, that if you want this bull crap, then you pay extra for it. Me, I just want the regular spray, which is standard, number 2. Okay. I don't need all this fancy crap. If I wanted all that, I'd pay for that. I just want a regular can because now this thing is whacked, man. I swear they do things to annoy you and make your life more difficult. They think, oh, you got all these options now, but you're going to pay more for it. Did you really need those options in the first place? I don't think so, man. I grew up my whole life using a spray can. I had no problems with it. Okay. First coat. When you do your first coat, I like to put 3 to 4 coats. Your first coat, don't even try and cover the whole thing. Just mist it on there. Get something that the next coat has something to stick to. You're going to limit your runs and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to have no runs, but if you do 3 extremely light coats or 4 light coats, you're going to minimize your risk of running, and all the extra coats, you're going to get all the stuff. Now, I am going to turn these fans on for a minute while I put the coat on, but as soon as it sucks out the fumes, I'll turn it off. It's going to get loud in here for a second. I'm so glad I kept some of those fans. That fan on the bottom is a beast. I kept 4 of them, I think. I should have kept more. Now that I'm thinking, I should have sprayed this black one first. We'll do that on the next show. We might get overspray on the other thing. That was kind of dumb. I really like this high performance enamel. This stuff covers amazing. Okay. Gonna let that ride for a minute. The only problem with those fans, it's all or nothing. I wish they had like a low setting. The fan that burned up, I had a smaller fan on the bottom. It burned up. I used to always have that running on low. But yeah, okay. We're looking good. I don't see any runs yet, so that's a plus. Now, when this all comes back together with the nice stainless looking hardware and that nice chrome looking heater, man, this thing's going to look sharp. And then I'm going to file down the PA Biodiesel thing so it pops out. I was really conflicted on, I wanted to paint the lid black and then scrape down the thing because then that would have really stuck out and looked really nice. Okay. Oh, what's up? My mom's in here. What else we got going on here? Who else is in here? There's so many comments. A powder coat, not paint. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not set up for powder coating at the moment, man. Derek has like every tool imaginable. Not yet, but one day. Hey, don't tell that to my wife, man. She might think I don't need any more tools. I need all the tools, man. Shh. Interested in a turret lathe, Bridgeport mill, and thousands of tooling, and a phase converter. It's new, never used in Illinois. Make anyone a great deal. Man, I mean, I'd love all that, but that seems like a far. Paul B. I'm in West Palm Beach. I have 120 compressor and 300 to 400 fan motors. Dag, dude, are you looking to sell them, or are you scrapping them out? You don't have time for them anymore? Hey, dude, you could sell them to me. You never saw Allen wrenches that big? Hey, dude, you know where I got that? Tractor Supply, dude. It's my new favorite place. And I now go there to get the fuel for my forklift. They sell propane. They can fill your tanks there. So I get to go there and look around and shop at all the tools. Adam W. Seafoam is great no matter what you use it in. Yeah, that's right. I'm just looking for if anyone made a question. The only thing better than Seafoam is Marble Mistral. I got a whole big gallon of that stuff. That's great stuff too, man. You pour that right in the tank too. That cleans all kinds of things. F-250. Are you asking me, Adam W? I have both my trucks are F-350s. For what I do, I find that the dualies are a better setup for pulling trailers. It just seems more stable. And you know, if you have a blowout, it's a little easier on controlling it. You were assuming that the boxes were going to be new hydraulic pumps. I I kind of wish they were, but that's definitely on high on the list of things to upgrade the pumps, man. But there's something big that has to happen before I can upgrade anything else beyond this. Like I said in an upcoming video, the next month is going to be crazy. Have they legalized weed yet? I'm pretty sure. I mean, they call them dispensaries down here. Which is crazy because I don't even smoke weed, and now it's available everywhere. Oh, Mom, you almost lost one of your horses? You didn't say anything. You didn't tell me about that. I hope the horse is okay. You don't have space in this shop. You got to move. Thanks for the suggestion, Adam W. I would love to move. Maybe one day that'll be in the cards. It's yeah, it's tough being in this shop. It's very narrow, and the way it's broken up. Well, my office like right in the middle of the shop, and then having an open bay on the other side. I wish like my office was on that side, and this was all open. It'd be a much better setup. I definitely don't have enough room. Yeah. I need a huge ass joint with lots of outer space. What's up, man? You find anything good out there? Steve's always shopping in the scrap, man. We love it when Derek shoots for 400 a day but gets 1,000 instead. Yeah, I love that too. So does my wife. I'm waiting for the day when someone recognizes my shirt. Oh, the PSF shirt? Man, I got recognized somewhere. Didn't someone just recognize you? Said, "Oh, you're the dude from YouTube."
Yeah. He come running in there and said, "Man, you're a celebrity."
Yeah.
He was looking for ways to make money, is just surfing and come across some of your videos and seen me.
All right. I got to do another coat real quick. I'm gonna have to fire up the fan for a second. You got it? I'm gonna do the black first this time. Oh, she's looking nice now. The multi-purpose gantry. What do you think? You think we should take the shotgun and break it down and paint it black and orange? No? I think so. Look at that door breacher barrel, man. I'm going to have to at least have one gun that's got my shop colors on it. Yeah, man. Man, we sold one of those V10 engines to a guy, and then we used I have a big heavy chain that I use for stuff, and I loaded it in the back of his SUV, and then the dude drove off on my chain.
I didn't even think about it.
Me neither.
How much can this process in a day?
It depends on how clean you want the oil. They recommend 5 gallons an hour for the cleanest oil. You know, I mean, I let that run most of the day. That's more fuel than I can burn in a
How
day.
clean does it actually get? It goes in black. Does it come out?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I mean, if you let it run in there long enough, I'm pretty sure it'll pull all the carbon out. Great time, and the gas prices are crazy. Yeah, they are. Every time I roll up to the gas station, it's $100 bill, man. And that might happen 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on what I'm doing. What's up, Jason? What's up, the copper catcher? Dude, you're out camping? Damn, I need to go camping. I don't know, man. They said they burned it up. Does that say 3-phase on it? I think it's 3-phase.
2 horsepower.
2 horsepower?
Single phase.
The Rust-Oleum is good stuff. Yeah, I have nothing but good good results with that Rust-Oleum paint. And what is in the stainless steel cup? What stainless steel cup?
Mine?
This? Water. I only just clear water. Or it could be clear vodka. You ever see that video with Cheech and Chong where the judge is drinking vodka and he goes up there and gets a drink? By the way, you cannot hear the fans. Your microphone has filtered out the droning sound. That's cool. Yeah, I need a bigger shop. Get Steve to make you drink. Steve doesn't even drink. Ah, that's funny. Steve's a stud. Hey, dude. These guys love you, man. Pick up a cheap orange grove and then move your whole scrap operation into a giant circus tent on a farm. Hey, man.
Close.
Wow. That would be awesome, man.
Okay.
So I grew up on a bunch of acres. I wish I had something like that. Oh, pop that off. I want to show them this thing. Just take these ones off and then this thing unlocked. Be careful with those because those are freaking stainless and stainless. Remember how they gold up on that other thing I was doing?
Give me the back then.
Yeah.
This is aluminum, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy's saying I should have 100 by 100-foot building. Yeah, that's what I need. Tell that to my wife. Send that right to my wife. Tell her I need 100 by 100 building.
Ask him if he knows how much that slab would cost.
Yeah.
4-inch slab. 100 by 100 is 60 G.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
What were we looking at? The price of blocks the other day?
It would be almost 5,000 80-pound bags if you wanted to do it by hand.
So concrete blocks used to be what, 50 cents a piece?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then now they're like, what were they, $3 at Home Depot? Oh, yeah. So even if you're going to build your own place, man, it's just ridiculous. I used to sell bootleg Cheech and Chong cassettes when I was in the 5th grade, believe it or not. Ha! That's funny, dude. When I was in like the 5th grade, oh, no, don't take that off. Well, tighten those back up. No, I told you not to. That just holds the cone on. Okay. My mom worked for a guy that I think he's passed on now, so we're not outing anybody. This thing, he would get, somehow he convinced, I asked him how he did it. He convinced Paramount that he was a big, like a video. Remember the old, like a Blockbuster where there was a whole bunch of little mom and pop ones? He convinced Paramount that he was a video store, and they would send him pre-releases. So my mom would always get movies like 2 weeks before they came out in the theaters. That was awesome. We got to watch all the shows. So this is the lid. The oil gets dripped down through this hole. And this is an accelerator. And this also helps with the oil when it comes in, it not splashing dirty oil up through the hole, because you want the oil to come down and go all the way out to the edge of the bowl, and then the new stuff being forced up through here and then out these slots, and then it gets slung out into that big thing right there. The very, very cool setup.
It comes off a slot. It gets dripped into the center.
It gets dripped in here, and then as the bowl fills up, it'll literally hold a gallon of stuff in there, of water. And then once it comes here, it comes up over the top and gets slung out, you know? And then that's your basically almost free fuel. And then here's your bowl. And then the 4 holes that are in the bottom are for when you stop the machine, all the dirty oil sludge that's left in there is going to drain down through there. And then you pull this out and you have to clean out all the stuff. Now they do sell, I think he sells it on his website, is a like paper inserts to put in here. Just aids with the cleaning, but I mean, I'm just going to clean it out real quick. And then we'll figure out either, we're going to have to just figure out something to do with the stuff we pull out of here. We can put it in gallon jugs and send it over to the auto parts store. They do take free oil, or take used oil for free. And since this thing will just be collecting a little bit of sludge, it's not even going to be a lot. Or if you had the ability, I would use it to burn in a bonfire, you know? Let's see here. Steve looks a little lost.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm going to go.
Yeah, he probably hasn't eaten all day.
It's getting dark out.
That's,
show them guys these things?
Yeah, that's my blender. You know, it's messed up. I was able to only pull 2 of them out of the dumpster at the scrapyard. He literally said there was hundreds of them. I would have grabbed a bunch of them because, like, I like a high flow scenario. I could put a couple of them together. Yeah, that's going to be a nice blender. But there is a patent number on that. I can probably find out the manufacturer, or even just make a bigger one, you know? The hardest part is going to be to make the fins that go back and forth. They're like, one's this way, one set's like this, the next set is like this, and then they alternate like this. So they're pushing the fuel in all different ways, and it's coming in. It's a pretty cool setup. As soon as I'm gonna put the next coat on, and I'm probably getting out of here soon, man. I gotta Are
you coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. Steve cleans up pretty good. Is it because he got a new lady? Yeah, he had one for a minute and then he kicked her to the curb. They're all crazy. Today? She misses you, bro. See? Everybody likes you, man. Let me know how to get in touch with you to set up a time. So just email me your information at projectshopfl@gmail.com. My link to my email is in the description of every one of my videos. Just email me, man, and I'll give you a call. Find us a cheap Orange Grove with 2 hours to Miami or West Palm Beach and send a link. Yeah. Man, that'd be awesome. Be out there scrapping, just get hungry, go out and pick some fruit. He's looking like a famous actor. Seems counterintuitive that you'd use gasoline to cut it. Diesel seems to be way better. So I agree on the diesel, but if you're trying to save as much money as possible, regular gasoline is cheaper than diesel. It does work. And a lot of times I used to get tons of like stale gas. It doesn't matter if the gas is old or stale. You can still thin it out. It's still going to burn in the diesel truck. Back when I used to do it with my filter setup, one of my customers, and I never asked any questions, but he was able to get plus gasoline right out the pump. And I would pay, I believe I would pay $2 a gallon at the time, and regular gasoline was well over $3 a gallon. Or was I paying $1 a gallon? Anyway, I was paying half price for clean, good gas. I actually used it. I'd pump it into my girlfriend's car at the time. And then I would sell it to people around me. I always had 55-gallon drums of gasoline and hundreds of gallons of oil. I mean, like when I say my neighbors thought I was going to level the block, it wasn't that far of a, they weren't that far off, man. There was some shit going on. Oh, man. My link isn't showing up. I posted it and hit submit. Oh, YouTube might not let you put links. In Texas, diesels and gasoline are creeping closer and closer. Station had both at $2.99. Hey, man, I'd love to be paying $2.99. I think I'm paying like $3.60 for diesel. What's up, sliced rice? Have you ever tried soaking your stators? I get a lot of old motors, and I soak my stators in Dawn dish soap and water. It seems to loosen the bindings of the copper insulation. Huh, Dawn dish soap, huh? Dawn's good for it. That's my favorite soap. I mean, that's literally a do-all soap. No. I actually did. I had a stator out here that I soaked in everything, man. I mean, I put diesel fuel on it. I put WD-40 on it. I forget what else I put on it. Nothing works. I literally had to burn it and loosen it up that way. But for the most part, now that I'm able to split them in half, 99% of them I can pull. I've only come across, as a matter of fact, I don't think I've come across any that I haven't been able to pull once I split them. Only that big giant, the 9,000-pound one I did that wouldn't even fit in the machine. I just chained it to the front of the machine. That's the only one that I couldn't get it to pull, man. They were so tough. I literally had to burn them. It was pulling so hard that those crimpers that I have, the harder you pull, the harder it squeezes. It was literally pinching through the copper. It was pinching it off. It wasn't happening. I had to burn that thing. And then even that, I had to burn it. I got it hot. And then once the glue cooled, it locked it back up. I couldn't get it out. I mean, there are just that's why, you know, I get these comments and like that one there. Um, it's soaking it in chemicals is just not a route I want to go. One, I just don't like the chemical thing. I think the brute force hydraulic will get 99% of them. And for whatever ones I'm not going to be able to do, that 1%, I don't mind cooking them, you know? And like the smaller stuff that'll fit in my incinerator, that thing has a scrubber. So it's not even like I'd be doing anything bad. We need incinerator videos. Well, as soon as I get this thing running and we get some free fuel, we'll be putting that thing to work. All right. Turn my fan on. The guy just suggested I leave the fan off. Oh, yeah. Woo! That brings it in there, man. Whoa! We got the wind blowing that way. Here we go. I used up a whole can just on them little parts. Man, that stuff is looking nice. See what we got here. Man, we might. Oh man. Man, the wind is going crazy out there. We might be getting a storm. That's why that fan turned. We're blowing hard this way into the building. Sliced Rice, you've been watching my videos for years. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that, man. Big John, 349 here in Jacksonville. Can I use red diesel in your mix to lower the cost even more? Sure. Just don't get caught using it. But I mean, if the DOT dips your tank, it's going to come out black. But the problem with that is they usually send an analysis, and that red dye that they use in the diesel is going to come up. I knew a guy years ago that was running transmission fluid, like strictly transmission fluid, which actually works better than motor oil. So I will be all for going after tranny guys. That really cleans your system, man. Even if you don't run black diesel, holy crap. I think I got scrap blowing around outside. Man, that wind is cooking. We got something brewing out there right now. Anyway, the guy was running tranny fluid, and he got pulled over, and the DOT was insisting that he was running red diesel, and they analyzed his stuff, and it came back that he was okay. But it's a big fine if you run that and get caught. The tranny fluid, even if you're not running used oil and you got an older diesel, it's a good idea. You can just dump transmission fluid, like 1 quart. Like when your tank is empty, dump the quart in, fill your tank up so it blends it in there pretty good. You know, when people add the fuel additives and stuff, the stuff you buy and you put in your fuel, you always got to do it on an empty tank, man. You can't just pour it in a full tank and think it's going to mix up. You got to put it in an empty tank. That way, as you're filling it, it's blended it in there. Holy crap, man. It's really it's something's happening out there. I'm probably going to have to go out there and secure my scrap. Anyway, it's getting late. I'm going to have to get off here soon. I do kind of want to give that one more coat. I think I'm going to give it one more coat, and then I'm going to go. Then I'm going to wrap this up. So if there's any questions you guys have, now's the time. Do I know how to process a refrigerator? I mean, they're just basically sheet metal and a bunch of insulation. I mean, you could just pull out the compressor but that's got one of those small round compressors, and I've found that they pretty much tight 58 minutes, huh? A tight 58 minutes is like an hour and 58 minutes. I forgot what I was going to say. Brute Force Hydraulic, good brand name. Yeah, I agree, dude. That's pretty cool. About the refrigerator. The small compressors, man, from what I found, a lot of them, I mean, it was like iffy if they were aluminum or copper, man. And some of them were actually mixed. Some of those things I was pulling were half and half, which is really weird. Sodium hydroxide. It's just lye. It gets neutralized by water, and it's cheap and it's faster. Yeah, but I mean, dude, if I got a stator that's so big that I have to do something. Like what am I'm gonna have to put it in a vat, a giant vat somehow to be able to do that. I mean, I just build a fire in it, let it burn, and go do something else. But with the setup that I'm building and that I've already got built, obviously you see me do some monster stators in here. I mean, I've literally done ones almost as big as that thing is wide, and I was able to pull it out. You know, it's just if I wasn't splitting them and I was just cutting the crown off of the backside and I was trying to pull that copper through all of that metal, a lot of those I wouldn't have been able to pull. And I don't think people understand, not you guys, but some people in the comments understand how hard some of those things are pulling, how hard that hydraulic ram is pulling back, you know? I mean, I blew the seals out of it. You know, I'm pumping 10,000 psi to a 4,000 psi rated cylinder, you know, and I have to fix that thing and upgrade the hydraulics. So that's we're going to be getting into hydraulics and build. I got pumps. I might have a motor. I have the reservoir, and the only thing I need is some electric spool valves. So that's going to be the next major project. After I get this dialed in and start saving some money on fuel, and clean out the shop a little bit, and round up all my hydraulic stuff because it's kind of all over the place. Some is in that side, some's over here. I got to kind of round up all the stuff I got, look at it, and then we're going to build one pump. You know, we're going to build our own setup with a hydraulic cooler and all the stuff we need to keep it cool and running production. And then we're going to build a bigger setup, you know. Let's see what we got here. The t-shirt respirator. Yeah, hey man, it works a little bit. Why not get an induction cook shop and just put the stator on there for a few minutes? Be careful not to break the glass and you're done. Heat up. Actually, I've actually been wanting an induction heater. I've seen some really cool induction heaters, but man, just think about how much juice those things are going to pull. I might need that 150 kW generator just to power it. Gunther, hello, Project Shop, watching from the Kingdom of Tango. Wow, dude, them fans are cooking. Yeah, we might be getting a good storm out there. Oh, someone sent me a super chat. Brian T. My brother says there is a difference between grinding discs and cutoff discs, and if you get them wet, they will explode. From Kansas City, great show. Love the videos you did with your wife. Hey, thanks for the $20, man. I really appreciate that, dude. That's going to go towards probably fittings for the fuel setup and maybe some hoses. What were you saying there? My brother says there's a difference between grinding discs and cutoff discs, and if you get them wet, yeah, there is a big difference between grinding discs and cutoff discs. You don't want to be grinding with a cutoff; it's thin and made to cut straight on. A grinding disc is made to cut on the side, and you're not really cutting; you're just like scraping across the top, cutting it down. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting them wet. Holy crap, man, that door is cooking. All right. again, thanks, Brian. I really appreciate it. And I really do appreciate just everybody stopping by and everybody watching and everybody that watches the regular videos and all the comments. I do read them. I just scroll through and read them, man. I'm like so busy, and there's so many comments now. Like it's really is overwhelming. I'm gonna try to answer the first maybe hour or two on all the videos, but it's just a crazy amount of comments. What's happening here? My phone's over here blowing up. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So if there's any questions you guys want to know, now's the time. The incinerator needs a roll-in rack in the bottom to hold half a 55-gallon drum for the bottom tray. Yeah, that would be cool. It does melt aluminum. I did have aluminum melted in that thing. We're gonna mess with that thing. I remember the big copper donuts at the old shop. Yeah, over at my house. And I made them big donuts originally I had nothing to put the copper in. So I would just round it up, I would use the donut maker. Nicholas, you've been watching for at least 4 years. Well, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. Check the energy rating. The refrigerators with the highest energy ratings have a copper coil sealed unit for the efficiency. That kind of makes sense. The Energy Star, they call it. Yeah, can you make some more videos taking us picking up and selling scrap? Sure. Miami radar shows you're getting hammered. I like the rides. Okay. Sodium hydroxide turns all your number 2 wire to bare bright. Okay. Flapper discs are more efficient than at grinding. Yeah, I actually love those things, man. Who's that channel? Fireball Tools did a whole series on like the best grinding discs, flapping discs, and ways to actually. I emailed you a link to the farm listing. Maybe we'll buy a farm. That'd be awesome. Billions of comments just show how successful and popular are. Good show. Thanks, dude. Did you figure out if you made money off the compressors? Yeah, I did. The first batch I bought from Miami, which I paid a super premium price for because they're one step away from the processor. It's like you have the generator, the local scrap yards, and then where I sell my scrap. So they're gonna get a premium for it. I made a little bit of money on it, but there was a lot of aluminum ones, and that big giant one that I thought was copper turned out to be aluminum. But there still was money to be made. And then the next round, what I bought from that AC guy, I think I bought, what was it? Close to $6,000 worth of scrap. I think it was like 5,800 or something. I actually had to make some deductions after and it was the guy was pretty good about it, and it was our first time. He just dropped off a bunch of scrap. I weighed most of it, but once I started going through it, there was like steel brake drums in the compressor bin I had to deduct for, and some other things. Why don't you try the 360 camera that Colin Furs uses? I don't know who that is, but I'll look into that. Thank you. Whom is Safety Marshal PSF? They're a moderator on the channel and my editor. I don't know how much more they want me to say. My wife. Yeah, you'd be right. Gotta go. See you around. Thanks, Adam W. Always nice seeing you, dude. Thank you for the gloves and the glasses. I literally was using them today. Oliver was here. He appreciates the gloves you sent him. That last comment reminded me that LED boards are sometimes copper. If you have to file the test to see that LEDs are soldered onto a solid copper substrate, you always scrap your big cast without checking. Yeah, sometimes some of them I have come across where they're on a copper thing. It's rare, but most of the time they're on an aluminum plate. But I will sometimes check them. Sometimes I don't even open them. I send them as scrap. I noticed the orange bigger compressors are usually aluminum, not copper. So I actually love those big orange ones, man. I think I only came across one that was aluminum. I think it was a mix, 50-50. But most of those ones, not only were they big coppers, the ones that I did, but the whole inside was cast aluminum. Most of them have all big, heavy steel. I threw all that stuff with the cast aluminum. To me, they were worth more money. Joseph Valente. Hey, thanks for the lunch money, dude, for the $50 donation. Man, I appreciate that. I might take my wife out to dinner now. Hey, we found this really cool place called Blackstone or Black Rock. They bring you out this really hot black rock, and you get to kind of cook your meat as you want. I loved it, man. It was great. Big thanks to you, sir. Hey, man, I appreciate the donations, man. It's all going towards a great cause, which you'll see coming up here soon. You only do one video on the house you had to be hush hush, Michael Jordan's house? I thought you were going back and he had so much scrap. Well, first of all, I never actually went to his house. My customer is there doing a huge renovation. I just got the end of the scrap when they brought it back. Tons of, matter of fact, I picked up like 3 loads of scrap from them from that job, and I have to go Monday and pick up a whole nother bin of Romex, which is great because I always buy Romex as number 2 insulated, and to me, anything that's double insulated, I just throw it. It's number 2, and then I sort it out myself later, and get I think I paid, I don't know, 70 cents a pound, 90 cents a pound maybe for the number 2, and then I sold it for $2.12 or $2.10, whatever it was. So that was a good deal. Double your money. Don't even have to touch it. But yeah, there's more scrap coming. Can't wait to see the diesel fuel series. Great unboxing video. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And if you guys all could go and check out PO Biodiesel. He actually has a YouTube channel as well. Man, go give the guy a sub. I really want to work with the dude, and he's got another product he's going to be launching. He said he's going to send me one so I could test it out on my truck. So we want to show the guy some love, man, and I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I'm trying to get his channel monetized. He's got enough subscribers. He hasn't dropped enough videos. I'm trying to get him to drop more videos to kind of help him out. So if you could go just watch some of his go watch some of his stuff. Really informative stuff, if you're into it or not. He's working with me, so, and I think he's a really nice guy, really, really cool, and I'm really excited about this kind of collaboration we're doing. And hopefully one day I can get them on a live stream. So I'm going to be doing more live streams going forward. Get off the grid. Yeah, that's our plan, man. I need to get off the grid. Pin his link in the chat. I don't know if we can pin links in the chat. Maybe in the, when this video is over, we'll pin a link for it in the, I'll put it in the description. Holy crap. It's gusting through here. And then, you know, oh, my mods can do that? Okay. All right, guys, I really have to go because I gotta clean up the shop and I gotta get home. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Leave a comment in the regular thing. Let me know what you think. Stay tuned for when I put this thing back together and start setting it up. And I have to wire the pump and put the pump together, wire it, and then I'm gonna make a because I want everything to run off of 220. I want to you know, create like a little panel where I can bring the power over and have a little sub panel with the I'm going to need like 220 outlets. So we got to figure all that out. But we got a resident electrician, you know, the greatest electrician in South Florida. So we're going to bring him over and I'm going to show him how not to wire up some electrical stuff. So again, thank you guys who for the people that donated. Always appreciate it, man. It really does help out the channel. Thank you guys for just watching and you know, leaving the comments and the likes and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. And oh, hey, PO Biodiesel's in the house. The orange will be amazing. Can't wait to see it put back together. Thanks, dude. Hey, give that guy man, go check that dude out. It's nice to see him showing up in the chat. I probably should have messaged people. My wife is always on me. Oh, you should put out notifications, do this and that. My thing is, I am like, so I never know if I'm actually going to go live. Like, it takes a lot for me to go live. So when I do, it's literally, I make the decision 30 minutes to within an hour before I go live. And I really need to try to schedule it better and be more consistent with it so we can all know when it's going to happen. But I do appreciate everybody that just showed up random. Thanks, Mike, for stopping by. I appreciate it. I don't know if you've been here the whole time, but yeah, you came in on the back end of the thing. But we'll do another one, and I want to try to get you on here, and then okay, great. Yeah, we'll definitely schedule a live stream where I know I'm going to be live, and I know you're available. He's in a different time zone than me, so it's you know, that's a thing too. So probably have to do them later in the evening, but it's great. I should consider making a Discord server for scrappers. Yeah, we'll work on that. So, okay, I'm probably gonna throw one more coat on this thing, and I'm gonna get out of here. You guys stay tuned for there's gonna be a couple videos that are gonna drop before you see me put this back together. But I will be putting this back together tomorrow and setting the totes up and everything like that. That video should come out within the week. So stay tuned for all that. And yeah, I appreciate you guys coming by. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for watching. Go give PA Biodiesel a sub. Go check out their channel and stuff like that. Say hi to Michael. And we'll see you on the next one, man. Thank you guys. And I hope you all have a great weekend.